What's happening, all you lovers and losers? This is DMV Don, and welcome back to the Betting is Easy podcast, aka hashtag 1-800-EASY-MONEY. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, comment, and all that good shit that makes the algorithms dance. Now grab your cold one and let's get to this money. Yeah, man. Welcome back. It's week 6 edition of the Betting is Easy podcast. I'm DMV Don. I already said in the intro. I'll be forgetting that I got a pre-recorded intro. Yes, I have a pre-recorded intro if you didn't pick that up, because doing the intros is hard to these goddamn podcasts, man. You got to tell people like, follow, subscribe. So, yeah. And then last week I got my first copyright hit because of the intro. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, you heard the music. If you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, you won't hear the music because I'm not trying to get sued by nobody. But let's get right into it. Last week I had some technical issues, man, so I couldn't really record like I wanted to. But we ain't win no money last week for anyway. We kind of broke even. So I'm glad I didn't put that one out. I'm trying to get y'all winners out here. But this week, it's an ugly slate. But let's get right into it. The games you won't care about. Starting off with Miami at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a 3-point underdog in across the pond in London. My advice for this game is stay asleep, man. It's a 9:30 game. It's fun waking up to football, but go to church, stay asleep. This is gonna be a snooze fest. From a standpoint of, it's not gonna be exciting football, but James Robinson, he's one of my fantasy players, and he's been heating up the last couple of weeks. Urban Meyer finally figured out to stay out of the Urban Meyer pint, getting lap dances and give his running back the ball, to help his young quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is looking a lot better, I guess. They got a couple extra days of preparation. I don't know how much they used, given that Urban Meyer had to put a fire out. But I'm sure Urban Meyer is counting his lucky stars that John Gruden, emails leaked, because now he's kind of off the hook. But they on long rest. Jacksonville, their owner hasn't, been shy about saying he wouldn't mind being the team that goes over to London permanently. So they've played in London, I think, more than any other team excuse me. They played in London more than any other team in the NFL. So they're basically like a home team under there now. They got a lot of young guys, so I don't know how many of them have taken this London trip. They got a few veterans, of course, so maybe they can help. But yeah, it's a London trip still. They're coming off a long rest. That's going to help for sure. I don't know if Urban Meyer, was smart enough to go out there a couple days early, let them get the tourism out the way. I'm sure that's probably a few of the younger guys' first time going to London. And they might just want to see some things, see Big Ben and whatever else over there they want to check out. Tua's supposed to be playing in this game. That's not saying much. Again, we told you a couple podcasts ago that the Tua to Jacoby Brissett downgrade wasn't going to be much. So the Jacoby Brissett to Tua upgrade isn't going to be much either. It's only a field goal game, but I expect some points to get scored. Both defenses are, struggling. Sorry. All right. I need some water. Somebody give me a cup, but nobody's in here. I do want to say something before I get off this game. This game you won't care about, and I gave it like 3 minutes. It's just terrible. Is it time for us to put Will Fuller on the all-finesse team? He's hurt again. I think he's on the IR. He's hurt every year for long periods of time. So I think that, it's time to start talking about Will Fuller on the all-finesse team with Sam Bradford and a few other people, man, because that boy's getting paid to not do much. Next game you won't care about is the Texans at the Colts. We can almost get through this one really quick. The Colts are a 10-point favorite at home. Valiant effort by the Colts, but they lost. Lamar Jackson is just that dude. He showed up and showed out. The Texans, Davis Mills, good story, I guess. But the Colts, I believe, had a number one run defense. It's up there, even if it's not number one. So that means that you're going to have a Davis Mills game again. And I think that the Patriots were kind of, they gave it their all for the Brady game, and to come up short. I think they kind of overlooked the Texans a little bit. That said, the Texans still showed up and played. They've been showing up to play, regardless. So that credit to that team. I don't know if I would take 10 points. I don't think 10 points. I don't know if the Colts are 10 points better than them, but I could see it happening. So to me, it's a stay away game. Wentz is kind of getting better with more and more reps in their offense with the people. They're starting to get a little bit healthier. They was a banged up team walking into this season. Wentz didn't really practice all preseason. COVID, just all kinds of things going bad. So they're starting to kind of warm up. Jonathan Taylor, also one of my fantasy teams, starting to put some points up. So it's a division game. I don't know. 10 points might be too much, but I'll take the Colts on the money line for sure. Rams at the Giants, another 10-point spread. The Giants are at home. They're getting 10 points at home. Who's playing for the Giants? If I had a producer, I would put that clip in with Joe Judge trying to tell the reporters that Daniel Jones can't practice and he's in the concussion protocol, and one of the reporters having to correct him saying, hey, man, Daniel Jones is in full fucking pads. What are you talking about? He had this look on his face that was hilarious, but maybe I'll try to put it in there. I just got Final Cut Pro, so I'm trying to play around with that, make the production a little bit better. We'll see. But to me, this is a stat game for the Rams. I think Matthew Stafford is going to try to reinsert himself into that MVP conversation. I wouldn't see to me, Sean McVay is not just a smart coach for the X's and O's. I think he's very aware of what things look like on TV and what you're talking about. And to be quite frank, the Rams as well as the Chargers is a thing that the Chargers never figured out what to do. The Rams playing in LA, you need to have a storyline. You need to have something going for you. So you need a reason for people to talk about you and want to come see you. They got this brand new pretty ass stadium. You go to New York, you stomp the Giants, then you got the New York teams and New York writers talking about you, how good you were as opposed to how bad the Giants were. As Matthew Stafford going to be MVP, and then you go back home and everybody's kissing your ass. So I definitely think that Matthew Stafford is going to have a show-out game. The Giants' defense isn't really that good. They can't stop the run on the pass. Cooper Kupp has been killing it. Robert Woods is starting to show up. Higbee at tight end. So I look for the Rams to bring it this week. That you got Aaron Donald versus that Giants O-line that's just whatever. Kenny Golladay isn't playing, so Jalen Ramsey, he ain't gonna take the week off. But who you guarding? Toomey or whatever, Tooney? What my man name? We just went off one of the Cowboys for like $180. Daniel Jones is supposed to play. I think he returned to practice. I just said that he did return to practice, Daniel Jones' underdog is supposed to be money, but I don't think this is one. Again, I don't know. It's 10 points. It was a close game last year. I think it was 17-9, but I don't see it with the Giants. They let me down last week. It's one of the reasons why there's no gift on the table this week. Last game you won't care about is the Hawks at the Steelers. You won't care about it because there's no rust. Nobody wants to see Geno play. That's just, sorry, Geno. I don't know you, but, nobody wants to see you play. The Seahawks were kind of okay with Russ at quarterback. I don't think they're going to be much of anything with Geno at quarterback. But he got a whole full week to prepare, so I think he's going to kind of show up. But he makes a lot of dumb mistakes at dumb times. And that's been the story of Geno since he's been at West Virginia. Like, he just do dumb shit, head scratching shit. You know what I mean? Like he like a poor man's Jameis. You know what I'm saying? So, but Big Ben is still bump sauce. We told y'all that in one of the previews, the preseason previews. Big Ben bump sauce. That was that got a lot of reaction. but he's still bump sauce. But I expect him to kind of show up this week at home against the Seahawks defense that just hasn't been really good. They're shelling themselves. Najee Harris is starting to get more acclimated, and I heard something this week that I thought was interesting. I'm gonna pass it on to you guys. The Steelers went from running a zone run scheme or just any zone run plays to all man blocking, so hat on hat. I heard that this week, and I thought that was quite interesting. So I think that, I want to see where that goes this week. This is the Sunday night game, so expect people to be. You need things to talk about. Chris Collinsworth's gonna need things to talk about. No Juju, ain't gonna see Juju dancing. Thank God. But Deontay Johnson's becoming a star in this league. I expect to see him break out. Claypool. That Steelers defense is still legit, man. And I think they're gonna have him there at the end. I don't think the Steelers are gonna make the playoffs. I think their win total was 8 games, maybe 9 games, whatever it was. I think it was gonna fall under that. I think you're gonna be hanging on to the Steelers. I think it's gonna be back and forth, a ping pong game for the Steelers, and they're gonna be looking for a quarterback. It's all the games you won't care about. Just the games you might care about. The Bengals at the Lions. The reason why this is on here, the Lions are a 3.5-point underdog at home. Reason why I put this on the games you might care about, because I think the Lions are going to win. That's right. I think the Lions are going to win. I think the Lions are going to get their first win this week. Because the Bengals play slow. They're one of the slowest playing teams in the league. And the Lions play pretty fast. They don't always play efficiently fast, clearly, but they play pretty fast. And to know, it's not a secret. The Lions have been playing pretty tough. The Bengals had a tough loss last week at home against the Packers, overtime. So you got a little extra mileage on the legs. Who knows? I think a thing that's getting overlooked is the fact that Joe Burrow has been on like a talk count. How can your quarterback, operate if he can't call the cadence? You have to go on silent counts. He probably's in the huddle giving them hand signals and talking about we're going on 2. So I think this is going to be a kneecap. That was going to hit too. I think this is going to be a kneecap biting week for the Lions. Look for the Lions to get their first win. And they don't. They could get blown the fuck out. Who knows, man? But I think they'll get their first win. The Raiders at the Broncos. Broncos is -4 favorite at home. Now, what is there to say about John Gruden that hasn't been said yet? Oh, Johnny boy. Man, it doesn't pay to be a racist. And we ain't forget about you neither, Derek Carr, man. You was all lives matter in it a few years back. We ain't forget about that. Your line didn't even block for you one game because you couldn't keep your mouth correct. But with that said, everybody's coming out saying the right things. Can't have that type of stuff in the league. I think, these things, there's always a bit of hypocrisy when people want to come out and take a moral stance on things that, quite frankly, I don't think you should take a moral stance on. I mean, of course you shouldn't take, racism isn't cool at any point, whether it's 7 years ago or not. But, the NFL has been playing the moral police for a while under Roger Goodell. And I think more and more is going to come out. We're going to get to, the Redskins and the Chiefs. And like I said, their name is the Redskins. They Washington football team for sure, but, their name is the Redskins. It's been the Redskins for 90 years or something like that. And they still use that logo. What they've been doing, from a morality standpoint, what they've been trying to cover up. We're going to get into that in a second, man. The Broncos are the favorite. I think the Raiders are a little bit overrated. They play well, though. Good defense is good. Has been upgraded. They're playing a lot better. Teddy Bridgewater is supposed to be playing. I don't know why they had him listed on the injury report still, but as you could tell, man, I haven't really been diving into the Raiders and Broncos game. There was a line move. The The Raiders were -3. It's moved up to, it went through 3.5. It's 4-4 right now, at least on, we didn't give no free promo, but what I see is a -4. It's a division game, so you never know. But the Raiders are 1-4 on the road. The last 5 games, something to look at. It's a defensive game we're looking for, man. Broncos defense is for real. So let's look for the under. I mean, your head coach was an offensive guy, and he got fired basically the beginning of the week. That has to throw preparation into a little bit of a mix. Special teams coach is now your head coach. Me, quite frankly, not just being a black man and being a Packers fan, I would like to see Edgar Bennett got that look. But we'll see. He's been a coach for long enough, proven himself. He's had top performing offenses. He was Devontae and Jordy. Had Aaron Rodgers had his best year under Edgar Bennett. So maybe he'll get a look in the offseason. Who knows? Next game you won't care about, like I said, we're going to Chiefs and the Skins or the Washington football team. It's tacky what they did with Sean Taylor, but I ain't going to keep on. This is a gambling podcast. You get your takes from ESPN. And maybe I'll start, giving out my little takes at some point. But the Washington football team is a 6.5 point underdog, and I might have went up to 7 by the time we started doing this already. Let me look. Nope, still 6.5. With the Chiefs getting a little bit of push from the money side. Is Mahomes mid? I can't believe I wrote that down. No, he's not mid. But they haven't been. He's been. I said it earlier, man. It seems like he's getting bored. He has physical gifts that nobody else has, and it looks like he's getting bored. I'm really gonna try to control my ums and ahs on this podcast, on this show. But I'm doing like rapid fire, kind of just going through real quick. So it's like there are breaks in my thought process. But if Mahomes is mid, some people want to say that. I think he's still going to finish, top 5 in every quarterback stat this season. The Redskins defense has to beat Reggie. They haven't shown up at all this season at no point. And quite frankly, you would think that, Patrick Mahomes would torch this defense. Everybody else has, but I think that this is it. This is the game where the Redskins defense can kind of, reassert themselves as being whatever we thought they were going to be. Who was it? They have injuries on their offensive line. They have another injury. I think one of their guards is out on the offensive line. So, and I don't know if Jonathan Abrams is going to play, but they have injuries on their offensive line, which the Chiefs do. And, it's time for Chase Young and them boys to step up and, kind of contain Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the game. Tyreek Hill, quad injury. And he hadn't practiced all week. They saying he's going to play. It's been a precautionary thing, but he's a speed guy with a quad injury. That's not something you overlook. So, one good pop on whatever quad it is, he might be out of the game. Then what do you do? So, Mahomes has proven he can't be Superman, especially when they on his ass, when they chasing him. And I'm looking for the Washington D-line to step up. Taylor Heineke, he's fun to watch. He's not. I don't think he's a franchise guy, but he's giving me Bortles service. He's like Blake Bortles-esque. He gonna keep you in games. Probably ain't gonna win you too many. Probably gonna throw you out of some. But the Washington offense has been putting up numbers regardless, in spite of him. I think Gibson's gonna play. I think returned to practice yesterday. But Brandon Sheriff is out. Chris Samuels is out. Samuel is out. And Demonte Brown might be coming back, so that'd be a welcome addition. alongside with McLaurin. Look for him to have a big game against that terrible Chiefs offense. But that's a game you probably won't care about. I'm looking to take the Skins if we get to 7. You should too, but don't. It's a bad week for gambling, man. The lines are ugly. Last game you might care about is the Vikings at the Panthers. Panthers are 2.5-point favorites. And this to me is the fraud alert game. You're gonna figure out which one of these teams is real and which one of these teams is a fraud. I think the Vikings have been getting a lot of passes because they played teams close and tough in the beginning. We start the season, but at some point you are what your record says you are, and the Vikings are trying to compete to get back into the division race. I think they're gonna go down here and beat Carolina because I think Carolina's a fraud. People wanted to crown Sam Darnold. He's got away from the Jets, and now he's better. And it's like he went from an F to a D. He's still failing. Adam Gase wasn't a good coach. Yeah, Sam Darnold wasn't a good quarterback either. So it was a match made in heaven. It's like, it was a disaster all around. But it was an interesting line move, and I believe it's because Dalvin Cook is supposed to play. The Panthers went from a 1.5-point favorite at home to a 2.5-point underdog at home. So that kind of gives me a little pause, but I was going to take the Vikings regardless. When I seen the Vikings with plus money at first, I wanted to hoping that it was going to tick out a little bit because I thought that McCaffrey was going to play, but it looks like he's going to be out for another week. But, they gave you a stat a couple of weeks ago about Zimmer versus non-division opponents. He kind of, steps it up when it comes to non-division opponents. So I think he understands that it's an NFC game, so you kind of need it. You're going to need it in the end of the season when you get to that playoff race and you're trying to, get positioning. It's going to be a fun game. I think there's going to be some points scored. I think Dalvin Cook coming back is going to be huge. And, yeah, we'll see who's the fraud. And to the games you will care about, 22 minutes, and I think we're going to get under 30 this time for the first time. Packers at the Bears. Now, the reason why you will care about this game is because I care about this game. I don't care about if you don't care about this game. We're going to put this in the category. You're going to care about this game. Y'all see I represent this week because it's Bears week, and we're going into Chicago. Aaron Rodgers dominates the Bears in Chicago. I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers dominate the Bears again. We're going to let Justin Fields might be a problem, a headache, coming into the next few years, but not this year. We're not worried about Justin Fields this year, man. He's been kind of living and dying on his athleticism, and they've been mucking games up, making them ugly. I think Damian Williams is out, so they're on their third string running back. The Bears are getting 6 points at home, and it moved. I think it opened at 3.5, maybe 4, which, is odd to me. And I remember 2 years ago, when the Packers first got Matt LaFleur, and every week it was just funny lines. We ended up winning. I must keep saying we too. Goddammit. The Packers ended up winning 13 games that year. Won 13 last year as well. But there were a lot of lines where people just like, the Packers aren't that good. They really aren't that good. We took that weren't good title all the way to the NFC Championship game. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done there, and we were bad in that NFC Championship game against the 49ers. I think we should have won. We could have beat the Bucs last year, but this is a game that the Packers got to win. So take Packers on the money line. If you got them in for a good job. It was in a dead space, so you knew it was going to get bet up to 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to 7 by Sunday. And then you have to look at taking the Bears because, it's the longest running rivalry for a reason. So I think that, while I think the Packers are going to dominate the game, it might not reflect that on the scoreboard. The Packers don't run away from anybody, quite frankly. But looking for another victory this week, victory formation. It's a low total. So let's go for 30-10. Stomp them in the nuts. Anyway, next game you won't care about is Chargers and Ravens. I'm having fun this Friday, man. It's early. I'm getting it done early. Whatever. Chargers at the Ravens. -2.5. The Ravens at home. It's East to West game. It was another East to West game I put on there. Oh, the Ravens and the Giants. I mean the Rams and the Giants. I'm sorry. The Rams and the Giants. East to West game, 1:00. Be mindful of that. It might be a slow start for the Rams. It's 10:00 game for them, body clock wise. But whatever. Back to the Chargers at the Ravens. This is probably gonna be your marquee matchup. It's definitely gonna be the marquee matchup of the 1:00 slate. You're gonna see. Is this a preview of the AFC Championship? Is this a preview of the MVP race coming down to it? You know, it's going to come into it at the end. Lamar's, put the S on his chest and been the guy with all kinds of offensive line issues from an injury standpoint, running back issues from an injury standpoint, receiver issues from an injury standpoint. The Ravens get back Bateman this week, who, for all intents and purposes, they say he was the best receiver in the class when he got drafted. And that's a class with Jamar Chase in it. You see how well he's doing. They say he's looking good, but they're going to ease him back into the game plan. Miles Boykin is coming back. That's a upgrade you should be looking for. Now it's not all on Hollywood Brown, who's kind of rectified all them damn drops he had in the Lions game to, be super solid. So now you got Bateman, who's kind of going to be an all-around guy. Hollywood, who is, your gadget guy. You're going to take the top off the defense, and then Miles Boykin is everything else in between. So look for the Ravens to, to try to show up this week. I think this is a game where John Harbaugh earns his money. But the Chargers are no joke. Justin Herbert, I think, is going to be definitely in the MVP race. He's been saving the Chargers, bailing them out all year long. We keep talking about it. His third down, fourth down efficiency, they're beautiful when they're backed up behind the chains. It's nice to see, man. But they outpaced the Browns team that I don't think was equipped to play them. And we'll talk about the Browns in a second. But at the same time, I think this is one where I think the East Coast, West Coast thing is going to be finally a problem. Not going to be on the 30. And at least for a slow start. And then if you have Lamar doing Lamar-like things, it's going to be exciting to watch. This is one of the higher totals of the week. I think it's 51. It's going to be exciting to watch. We like the Ravens there. The Cardinals and the Browns is a game you will care about. The Cardinals the Browns are at home. They were a 3-point favorite. It's just ticked up to 3.5, like in the last hour or so. Kyler Murray is dealing with a shoulder injury. Last year when he was dealing with a shoulder injury, they were two different teams. So be aware of that. Chandler Jones is on the COVID list. He's not playing. Hudson, their starting center, is not playing. That's a big deal. The Browns are getting a lot of defensive players back. I think, all of their cornerbacks that were hurt, Ward, all of them, Greedy Williams. I think everybody's coming back. It's supposed to be a bit of weather. They're Arizona team that plays in a dome. They like to play fast. So I don't know if Chase Edmonds is playing or not, but. Kyler Murray isn't going to be able to just whip it around. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable. I think he's going to play. And even though Nick Chubb is out, the Browns are a running team. So they have a philosophy of running the ball a lot like the Ravens do. Really, it's not going to say it don't matter, but it's not going to matter as much to who is the running back. Kareem Jackson's still going to play. They're gonna get it done. Well, I can't say they're going to get it done, but I look for the Browns to get it done. The Cardinals are the only undefeated? Definitely one of the last, but I think they're the only undefeated team left, and they were an underdog walking into the game. So it look to be a fun game, but, looking for the Browns. I'm supposed to wait to tell you all this, but who cares, man? We got about to touch 30. God damn it. Cowboys and Patriots. I think this is a trap game of the week. The Cowboys is America's team. Let them tell it. They've been, dog walking whoever they put in front of them, and they only get 3 points. It was 3.5. It's been a wild line move. The Patriots were +1 at one point. Then they got bet all the way out to +4. Then they got bet down. They kept getting bet back down to +3, 3.5. Now it's sitting at +3. It's a coaching mismatch for sure. I don't know how the Patriots will get this done, but I foresee the Patriots getting it done simply because if you look at the action on the slate this week, it's not a lot of good, juicy games. And this is where last week the Vegas books said that they got burnt. They finally got beat by the public last week, and usually when the Vegas books get beat one week, they tend to bounce back the next week. And with these games being so ugly, you have to pinpoint certain games that people will kind of gravitate to. You got the Patriots who had 20 years of success, the Cowboys who have had 20 years of mediocrity. And now the roles are kind of reversed. The Patriots are the mediocre team, and the Cowboys are, the bee's knees. Dak is on an MVP, run. So we'll see. But the line tells me that you should go with the Patriots here. Same way the line told you should go with the Patriots when they played the Brady and the Bucks. I'm gonna take, the Patriots and hold my nose. We're gonna get out of here because I'm trying to keep it under 33 minutes. How about that? To the shit parlay. Just real quick. Shit parlay is gonna be the Colts money line, the Vikings -2.5, the Ravens -2.5, the Browns at -3 if you can get it. If you can't get it at -3, I wouldn't play the Browns 3.5. I would take the money line. But if you find it at -3 or bet it down, -3. The Patriots at +3 and the Steelers on the money line. Because, again, it's Geno Smith. That is your Betting is Easy podcast for week 6. As always, I needed to find a different way to get out of this joint. And I don't know, man. It's a lot going on this Friday, so I'm trying to get this done before I got to go do some other shit. So if my energy wasn't there, I'm sorry. I apologize, but hopefully I make up for it when you make some money this weekend. As always, be easy.
Step your game up.